Good morning, so it's our third full day in Crete, and today we're going to go to a few archaeological sites. I think the first one is going to be Phaistos, which is a Minoan palace, and the second one, I think it's called Gortyn or something along that, Gortyna or something, and I think that was actually the Roman capital of Crete. So yeah, I mean, me and Jay haven't, or me and my husband haven't been there for years. I don't think my parents have actually been there for a long while actually, so it'd be nice to go along and see if there's anything more they've done to it. Obviously they haven't changed in 7 years, but yeah, just to see if they've opened them up a bit more, made them a bit more accessible, because yeah, they don't really treat their archaeological sites how we do in the UK anyway. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to actually seeing them, see what they're like, and also to see if how pram accessible they are as well. So that'll be interesting. So come along with us and see what you think. So this is the site of Phaistos. It's one of the most famous palaces in Crete. Obviously you've got Knossos, which is the most famous, but Phaistos is like the next one to that. It actually came under Knossos as well, like Knossos was the main palace. This was the then second part of it, because I think they were in the same region, because Minoan Crete was basically split up into different sections and Phaistos come under Knossos. The actual site, it's on a hill in the middle of a valley, so one, it was a good sort of military spot, so where you could obviously see the enemy coming, but it was originally, I think they said it was founded in like 4000 BC, and I think the palace, the actual, or the first palace was around 2000 BC, but there's been several palaces or remakes and rebuilds of the palace over like the centuries, because they had like several earthquakes that just completely destroyed them, so they had to rebuild and stuff like that. Same with Knossos, and it didn't actually outlive the Minoan period. It kind of just went forgotten. A lot of people, it's kind of like argued about what actually happened in terms of why the Minoans just suddenly died out, they just disappeared. You have the theory that obviously the island of Santorini now was originally just basically a massive volcano, and it was like an amazing civilization that lived there, kind of like the Minoans. They used to trade with the Minoans, and the volcano blew up. One of the most biggest eruptions they actually think has been witnessed by human civilization. So blew the island apart and also caused a massive tsunami, which just swept over Crete and just caused just such a calamity that the Minoans just couldn't recover. And then the Mycenaeans came along and just took over, and that's when the Greeks as we know them, the ancient Greeks as we know them, basically started their empire over Crete and the rest of the islands. so now we're at the site of Gortyn, or Gortyna, Gortys, it's got loads of different names. This site is really old, but it has loads of different eras in it. So the church you can see behind me, that's actually 6th century AD. That's Basilica of St Titus. But the actual site itself is like from 7000 BC. They have evidence of people living here, but it was more, I think, that it was built up around the Minoan period. So at the time when obviously Phaistos was at its peak, is a time that Gortyn started to rise up. I do actually think as well that Gortyn actually fought with Phaistos, and it actually is one of the reasons that led to Phaistos's sort of downfall, really. But yeah, so Gortyn was kind of, it was important, but not as like major as like Phaistos or Knossos or whatever. But during the Roman period, it actually became the capital, and I think they had quite a strong link with the Egyptians at the time as well. So it was quite, it gained its strength from the trade and everything with Egypt that it had at the time. So, but yeah, then I think they got invaded by, well, Crete obviously got invaded by an Arabic empire. I can't remember exactly which one, but I know it got invaded then, and then obviously the Christians came back, hence why this church was built in the 6th century. So we'll take a look around, because there's a lot of like Roman, there's more Roman here actually. I think it's quite dominant here, because that's the richer part of its history. So let's take a look around. So after our little excursion, we made our way back to our hotel in Gouves, but on the way back, me and my husband decided we wanted to take a little stroll by the local church. It's a very old church as far as I'm aware, but it's still very active within the community. While we were there, we actually saw one wedding, I think, and at least one christening. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye!